you guys are in need of coins for any reason, make sure to check out cheapmaddencoins.com. Use code Mike at checkout for 10% off. So I think it's safe to say after last night's game, there was a lot of controversy surrounding the NFL. Saints fans and Rams fans all have an opinion, and even fans of just the NFL and sports in general have an opinion on what happened last night. But in today's video, I kind of want to go over that game in its entirety. More especially and more specifically, all the fuck-ups by the referees, because there was a lot of them. I want to specify this before I get into the main parts of the video. I am a Rams fan, and I'm going to try to come at this as unbiased as possible. So to be as unbiased as possible, I want to start out by saying, if the no call was called, the pass interference that everybody knows what it is, Mikel Roby-Coleman went up to guard the receiver and pretty much tackled him well before he had a chance to get the ball. If that was called, the game would be over, the Saints would have won, and they would be going to the Super Bowl. That is facts. If you're a Rams fan and you don't agree with that, you're either blind or dumb. That is straight facts. If that was called, the game would be over, 100%. Non-biased. To go even a step further, there were a lot, and I mean a lot, of bad calls that benefited the Rams. Now, there's also a lot of bad calls that benefited the Saints. Like I said, I want to go more in depth on each one of those plays and show kind of just the terribleness that are the referees in the NFL. Something that I've always loved about the NFL was I feel like calls aren't really arbitrary. Something like the NBA, for that matter, a foul is sometimes a foul, and it's sometimes not a foul. With the NFL, it's either offsides or it's not offsides. It's either pass interference or it's not pass interference. It seems pretty cut and dry, pretty black and white. But last night in the NFC Championship game and the AFC Championship game, it just wasn't. It really wasn't, and it was not fun to watch. If you're a Rams fan, you're happy. You won the game. You're going to the Super Bowl, but you probably think back and are like, man, I really wish we could have won without the benefit of that call. Now, I'm gonna go over every single call, not every single call, but the most important calls that benefited both teams so we can kind of look more in depth on this. But I think one thing that we can all agree on is that these referees were horrible. They were awful. Should they even still have a job? I don't know, probably not. Now, the idea to make this video actually started out by somebody tweeting me this picture. I don't know if this is photoshopped or not, but Michael Thomas might have tweeted something. It says, Rule 17, Section 2, Article 3 at the NFL. So apparently in Rule 17, Section 2, Article 3, the rule book states that the commissioner's power under this Section 2 include the reversal of a game's results or the rescheduling of a game, either from the beginning or from at the point at which the extraordinary act occurred. Now, I might have messed up my words saying that, but either way, just pretty much in layman terms, what that means is that they can restart the game from the point at which that was a terrible call and the game would end. But I had a problem with this tweet, and I really had a problem with it because this tweet makes me think, and makes everyone that saw this think, that the game was decided on one singular play. And I don't think that could be farther from the truth. Like I said in the beginning, yes, if the call was made, the game would be over, but there's so many other situations that could have been changed where that exact play might not have even happened if other calls were made. So like I said, to be as unbiased as possible, I'm gonna start out with a couple plays here that really benefited the Rams. For example, this was in the fourth quarter, 3rd down and 7. Mikel Roby-Coleman was guarding one of the receivers for the Saints. He held him. It's an arbitrary call, whether you call it or not. Oh, fourth quarter, let them play. I don't like that, okay? I don't like that. This should have been called. It should have been a conversion. It should have been a first down. There is no reason why this should not have been called. Another blown play by the referees. This is a little bit better vantage point of what exactly is happening. There's a lot of holding going on in this play. And like I said, I'm not doing every single bad call, but I think these are the most specific ones and the most important ones. This is one in the fourth quarter on a 3rd down that should have been called. Now, this next play is something that I saw a lot of people tweet me. It's that the play clock hit double zeros on a 3rd down for the Rams, and unfortunately, there was no delay of game. Now, the weird thing about this play is they threw it away, so it was a 4th down either way, which really doesn't matter. But I wanted to clarify, the clock that we see, right? The clock that we see on our television screen is not the same thing that is in the game. the clock has to hit 0, and then another second has to go by for the play clock to actually be at 0. It'll be at, 0.7, 0.6, 0.5, 0.4, so on and so forth. So that happened against the Saints. It actually happened against the Rams as well, and I'll show you the other picture. This was actually on the goal line. Apparently, the person that tweeted this out drew a big yellow circle, and we're like, hey, double zeros on a second down and goal, but in reality, it didn't actually go all the way down to 0. So this is a really big misconception that Rams fans and Saints fans are having. There was no problem with this play or missed call per se whatsoever. Now, this was a play that, it didn't really have that much relevance because we got a big yardage play. It wasn't really that big of a deal. It wasn't in like a huge crunch time situation, but I thought it was funny. One of the Saints players just came in and I don't know, like WWE body slammed one of our players. I want to say it's Josh Reynolds. Just sat on his head. Pretty much sat on his head. Nothing was called. No one did anything. No one talked about it until after the game. But here's a little video clip that I found on Twitter.
And then runs into Demario Davis.
Watch out!
And then runs into Demario.
So those are some of the calls that I feel like have been really, really bad. Really, really bad that benefited the Saints. And some of them obviously benefited the Rams. Now, these are some calls that I just wanted to point out, and I know everyone has seen these on Twitter, but I just want to put it in the video so that everyone sees it, all the face mask calls. This first one was on Brandon Cooks. This is so unbelievably obvious, it's a face mask call. Was it called? Absolutely not, because the referees are awful. They were absolutely awful last night. Now, this is the call that every single Rams fan will bring up whenever you talk about the missed pass interference. This is a face mask on Jared Goff on the goal line on 3rd and goal. I want to say the score was 17-20 at that point. We ended up taking our 3 and tied the game. If they would have called this face mask, it would have been 1st and goal on the half-yard line. I'm not saying we would have scored. I'm not saying we would have scored touchdown. Trust me, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is we would have had 4 more attempts to at least put 6 up on the board and go ahead of the Saints, which would have 100% changed the outcome of the game. Whether it's good or bad, the outcome would have been changed. Now, this is another play on the goal line where I want to say, I can't remember which player caught this. It was a Saints tight end, I want to say. He caught a touchdown in the end zone, and it was fumbled. It was, I don't want to say dropped because I'm not 100% sure if it's dropped, but it wasn't reviewed. And almost in what I thought to be every scoring play was reviewed. And this one, unfortunately, wasn't. This was one of the Saints' only touchdowns up until the very end of the game. So, again, a missed call. A very bad missed call. At least we could have reviewed this and maybe something would have changed. And then we all know the famous pass interference call, the one that was so blatantly obvious that Roby Coleman tackled the man. He tackled him before he was able to catch the ball. And like I said before in the beginning of this video, if that was called, the game would have been over. 100%. I'm not denying that. You should never deny that. If you're a Rams fan, understand that's just straight facts. So what is the point of this video? Why did I do this? Well, I'm getting to it. This game was not decided on one play, okay? A lot of people seem to say if this one play wasn't called, the game would have been over, and I understand that. But if every single missed flag and missed penalty, missed face mask, missed offsides, missed roughing the passer, whatever it may be, if those were all called, this game would have been 100% completely different. And some scenarios that would have happened, maybe wouldn't have happened. I'm not sure. But what I'm trying to say is this game was not determined on one call. There were so many calls that changed this game. And overall, do I wish the game could have been replayed? Yeah, I do. I wish it could be replayed. I wish we could go back, and I wish we could do it all over again. I wish Todd Gurley wasn't hurt. That was a really big reason why we were struggling so much in the run game and offense in general. I wish it could have been replayed so that the NFC Championship win would have not had a little mini asterisk on it with all the terrible officiating in this game. I wish it would have been, but we can't. We can't do that. The Super Bowl is in 2 weeks. Postponing the Super Bowl would be... that'd be insane. So hopefully Rams fans and Saints fans aren't being like stupid toxic in the comment section. Chances are they're gonna be, okay? But if you've gotten this far, be the good guy, okay? Be the one that represents your team the right way. If you're a Rams fan, don't gloat, because guess what? We got lucky. If you're a Saints fan, we get it, okay? There was a pass interference call that wasn't called. There's no need to constantly remind every single person in the comment section that that call wasn't made. We get it. It happened. So that's it. That's all I got for you. I really like making this NFL video. If you guys liked watching it, make sure to drop a like down below. Should I make a video on the AFC Championship game? Because in my opinion, that was even more poorly officiated. That game was insane. I have no idea how that game turned out the way it did, but if I should make a video on that, let me know down in the comment section by dropping a like and let me know in the comments. Okay, boys, that's it for the video. Hopefully you did enjoy. If you did, drop a like down below, subscribe if you are new, and guys, I will see you in my next upload. Peace.